this shouldn't be in the sun. Just see if I can clean some of this up. Ah. This has to stay there. Is this off? Yeah. Hey, I think that was Ashley that just checked in. How you doing? Yeah, let me get my glasses on so I can see better. Oh, naturally, they're laying us. I'm doing a live, okay? Alrighty. All right, Ashley, how you doing? We're gonna get into what's going on, how I'm feeling. I'm not sure how I'm feeling right now, but we'll wait and see. Julie's here. How you doing? Thanks for checking in, everybody. So I'm going to go ahead and get started. I'm putting tools away. I hope you don't mind. I'm just trying to straighten up the trailer here a bit as we have a little bit of a issue with the car. I will get into that. I'll get into stuff going on, personal stuff. Lot. I know I haven't posted all week, and I'm going to explain all that here in a minute. I'm trying to get some stuff cleaned up here so I have room to operate, because right now I have tools all over my bench. It's crazy. So once I get this cleaned up and I have some room, then I can break everything down. Okay, I think that goes there. I really don't want this in the sun, so I'll move this as I have sun blasting in the trailer. All right, so I wish I had a better way of doing this. I don't know how that is. It's probably terrible. So anyway, I'm just gonna go ahead and get into it here. So let's go with, let's see, what should I start with? Should I start with, I guess start with what's going on. So, gosh, I don't even remember what we talked about last, but anyway, so Dad went back in the hospital on Wednesday morning. Let's see, Wednesday morning. There was a concern with his leg, possibly an infection. There were some other things that were coming out as far as, thank you, Ashley, with his dark stool. He wasn't eating, I found out. I also found out he wasn't resting either. So I think he had severe exhaustion and malnutrition going on. And I kind of blame myself for it. I should have done a better job to check in. And I was relying on the neighbor who she works with nursing, but I think she's not like a nurse. So I should have checked in more. I thought between my mom and her that everything would have been worked out and everything would have been okay, and obviously not. Or else I think this wouldn't have happened. I kind of blame myself for it. I should have been more vigilant in stopping in every day after work to make sure he was good. But I didn't. So I have to do my part to check in to make sure he's getting what he needs as far as being healthy and having the best nutrition that he can have, and make sure he's eating what he should be eating and that he's sleeping, because those two things weren't happening, and that's why he got in the hospital. So Wednesday night, went in to see him. Thursday night, went in to see him. Was terrible. I thought for sure that I would have been planning a funeral by today.
Can't be meaner than that, huh?
So we fast forward to Friday, and good. Or need help?
No, I just was seeing what was in here.
Okay. So went ahead and went in on Friday to see him, and I guess they were doing. He got some rest and got some nutrition in him, and what a difference! He was doing a lot better. He still, I'm not quite sure. He still has trouble. He gets confused right now pretty easy, which is something new. So there's that. There's it takes him a while to form words. So I don't know if something else happened that we don't know about. I don't know. I'm only reporting on what I've seen. What I see is just him. I mean, he's a lot more energetic. I just got off the phone with him. He sounded good. They changed, excuse me. They changed his diet. So now he's actually having solid foods. He ate half a hamburger, which was pretty amazing. So I was pretty happy about that. So they're going to change his diet. They're going to see what's happening. There is an issue with his hemoglobin level that they're monitoring. So we'll see how that all goes. Right now, their plan is for him to come home Tuesday. Unfortunately, he'll be in hospice care. It's what he wants. So that's a little much for me to accept right now, but I get it. So I actually have to sign paperwork for that, and I want to make sure I read everything over to have him go into hospice care. They will be coming to the house, so that could be as early as Tuesday. So we'll see how that all plays out with the hospice care. So that's what's been going on this week on that end. So we're going to go ahead, we're going to switch gears, we're going to put the clutch in, we're going to put this thing in the top gear, and we're going to go over where we found out with this and why we're not going to be racing this tomorrow. So I'm not 100% sure, but I think all the problems we're having comes from a weak battery. So let's get into it. So what had happened the other day, I told you know about the wiring we did, and I showed you guys. So we were trying to start it yesterday, and Thursday we were trying to start it, and it would not do a fuel pump prime at all. We would hit the key, and you're supposed to have that the fuel pump that's in the tank, and you can hear it. It's supposed to prime, run for 10 seconds, stop, and then when it senses an RPM signal, and then the pump will run non-stop to feed the engine. So that wasn't happening. So we went ahead, and Lloyd helped me out on this. So we went ahead and we put a test light at the back bulkhead connector where the factory connector is for the fuel pump. Well, we had signals, so we assumed there was a bad fuel pump. So we also knew that there was an issue with, so you can see there, we actually cut, instead of dropping the tank, let me see if I can get in there to show you guys what we did. There's the top of the tank. So instead of dropping the tank, where a lot of guys are cutting them, so that's what I did. I basically opened it up like a tin can, and I pulled that all out. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's 6 screws or nuts on there. So I took those off. We removed the fuel pump, and I ended up getting, I didn't realize I had one in my garage laying around, but I had a Holley Sniper EFI, which has a higher flow rate fuel pump in tank, no less. So I was pretty stoked. Took it out. I swapped the pump that was out of there, assuming that pump was bad. I took that out, and I put the Holley unit in. So went ahead, swapped everything out, hooked up all the wiring, the hoses, changed all the connectors that are inside the tank to accept that fuel pump. Hit the key, no prime. So today, wasted about probably 2 hours. So there's a wire here. You can see I have a jumper wire here. It has an alligator clip. Let's see if I can show you. It's a piece of wire, and I have an alligator clip on it at both ends. So there's a green wire with a black tracer that comes off the ECM, and that's supposed to prime your fuel pump. That wasn't happening. So what I did was I kind of shaved a little bit of the insulation off the wire, and I put that connector, the alligator clip there, and I put the other end on regular 12 volts. Then the pump would run, but it ran non-stop. The ECM is not controlling it. It's just straight battery voltage going to the fuel pump. So I'm like, all right, this is good. Now we know the fuel pump works. I took the fuel line off at the regular, so it's spraying fuel. So I know it has fuel going to it, but the car still won't run. So in the triangle, the combustion triangle, you need fuel, you need air, and you need spark, right? So we know we have fuel. We obviously have air. It has to be a spark issue. So with that in mind, I have an MSD ignition box on here. I'll go ahead and show you where that's mounted. So it's an MSD. It's a regular MSD 6 on here. And so that requires a minimum. Let me get the camera back. There I am. That requires a minimum of no less than 8.5 volts, or else it won't start. It won't be produce enough energy to fire the spark plug, to fire the whole deal. So went ahead, put a multimeter on it. So if you check the battery at rest, 11.9, 12 volts, battery's fine. So you think to yourself, hey Jess, how we doing? So if you just check the battery at rest, you think, oh, the battery's fine. It's got to be something else. So I'm going down my rabbit hole like I usually do. I'm thinking, what would happen if we load test the battery? So luckily Levi was available. So I hooked the meter, my digital meter, up to the battery, positive, negative, 11.9. So I said, all right, what I want you to do is turn the key on and hit the button for the starter. And in doing so, the battery dropped down to 8.4, 8.3 volts, which is below 8.5, which is your threshold for the MSD ignition to work. So that's kind of where we're at. We're hey Shuggy, how we doing? Thank you, Jess. Shuggy's here. Woohoo! I don't know. I just think that's a cool name. I'm sorry. I hope nobody's offended, but man, man, put that in the car. Put like Shuggy Nights. I don't know. Maybe that's stupid, but anyway, I think it's cool. Anyway, I'm getting off track. So anyway, the diagnosis right now is that the battery is bad. It's as soon as, I mean, at rest the battery's good, but you put any kind of load on the battery, it goes below where we need it. So the game plan is right now. Well, there's actually two. Number one, we need a battery. So I'm gotta look into that, see what the best battery is that we can get in this car. Number two, we gotta clean up where I showed you earlier, where I cut open for the fuel pump. And what I'm thinking, what I might do, I might put a panel on there, but make it a removable panel. So, welding it near a fuel tank is just not a good idea. You're gonna probably explode and die, or go into orbit forever. And I was thinking, and then you can't access it once you weld it. So I'm thinking to myself, if I knew better how to make like a Zeus fastener setup, where it's like a quarter turn fastener, and then you could remove it. I'd even think about something like that, but I never done one myself. I helped when I worked on a race team. We had them to hold a body on, but I've never actually done it. So that might be a good opportunity to your nickname for N Granby. Oh, okay. Well, that's cool. You gotta like Granby. I'm sorry. You just have to. Oh my goodness. Don't get me started. I might talk to Lloyd. I just thought about that. Maybe we'll make that an access panel. We'll put like 6 quarter turn fasteners on that. And then that way, if we ever have to swap a fuel pump at a race, we can and swap it out. I don't know. I'm thinking about it. We'll see, because I'm also thinking about swapping over to a fuel cell and a whole AN fitting type fuel system with a rear firewall whole deal, which that would be that's not something you're going to do in a day. That's a big job. So I don't know. We'll see. We're going to get it first things first. We're going to start putting a battery in it. We're going to start with that. And then we're going to see from there and just my brain thinking is that the only component that's controlled by the ECM is the fuel pump. Because if I run the fan, if I run the electric water pump, if I run the ignition system, all that turns on. But all that stuff's not powered by the ECM. It's controlled by a switch, or it's controlled by another device. The only thing that's controlled by the ECM is the fuel pump. So I'm thinking to myself, is there an issue with the ECM that if it doesn't see 12 volts, it doesn't prime the fuel pump? So, Crank Nug, you're here. Yes, if that's where I was getting to. Lloyd said if push comes to shove, we may just put the fuel pump on a switch. That's already in the dash. I already have a switch panel there. So I may just do that. So that way I have the key for the ignition, and then I have a switch for the fuel pump, and we may just do that. The only other problem I have with that is, I don't know if it's a problem because I could always switch it back, but we're looking at possibly getting rid of the ECM that's in it now, which is a Holley Commander 950, which is 2001, 2003 technology. And I think I mentioned this before, you can't even get software for that particular ECM to tune it. So if I'd want to change anything on here, I can't, because I can't tune it. So what we're thinking of going, I talked with a couple people, we're thinking of going with a Holley Terminator X setup on it to do, and the guy who I would get it through also has a hub dyno. So what we would do is Lloyd and I would wire up the Terminator X, mount everything, and then the plan would be trailer the car up to his garage where he has a hub dyno. We would hook the car up, and he would go in with his laptop and he would tune it. He's done countless LS and small block fuel injection tuning at his garage. So we would do that with this. Now, however, the other thing that gets spicy here is we're also working on getting a set of AFR cylinder heads for this, because I'm still running stock aluminum heads. They are worked, but we're looking at possibly putting a set of AFR, Airflow Research is the name of the company, Airflow Research aluminum LT1 heads that have already been race massaged. We have that kind of in the works to see if that deal comes through, and if it does, we would throw those heads on a car. We would go with a Holley Terminator X ECM setup on here. At that point, we would then trailer the car up to the guy's shop where his hub dyno is. We would hook the car up to the hub dyno, and then we would be able to tune the car to where it needs to be. Even if we don't do the cylinder heads, I think there's a lot left in this motor that isn't being used with the way it sits right now. So our whole thing is trying to upgrade the electronics on here. And the thing that's nice with the Terminator X, and anybody who knows about the second gen LT1s, is the OptiSpark is junk. I'm still running it, and it seems like it runs pretty good. With the Terminator X, if I want to, maybe later, I can add a coil-on plug ignition, which is a heck of a lot more efficient than the OptiSpark deal. That's looking like a year or two down the road. But the plan for now would be at least the Terminator X setup, so we can tune. I'm sure we can tune a lot more horsepower out of this motor. Now, going to the fact that we just put a Holley Sniper fuel pump in this thing, which I'm sure flows a lot more than the one that was in the tank. We should have enough fuel. If not, I can always put an inline fuel pump if any additional fuel is needed. But for now, we have that Holley Sniper fuel pump that I just put in there. Like I said, if this deal comes through, which I'm keeping my fingers crossed, but if the deal comes through with these cylinder heads, we'll have the cylinder heads, the Holley Terminator X, and we'll have a dyno tune, hopefully in the car for next year. And if that all works out, we might have to put a fresh pair of sneakers on the back of it to make sure she hooks to get that power to the ground. So, but we'll see. I'm waiting to hear some words on, the word on a couple other things we have in the works for this. As for right now, we just want to get this thing to the track yet this year. So we have the new Holley fuel pump in the tank that I put in yesterday. We just are trying to figure out if the battery is shot, if that's why the ECM isn't powering the fuel pump. If it decides that it doesn't want to power the fuel pump, I think Cranknug, we're going to go with your idea. We're going to wire it into the switch panel. I don't think it needs a fuel pump input to run. If I go to Terminator X, I will, however, need a ignition pulse. So that's stuff bridges we're gonna cross so we get there. But I think for right now, if we can't get this ECM to power the fuel pump, like Cranknug said, we're gonna power it through the switch on the switch panel that's in the dash. I just want to see what this fuel pump, if that's between that and the heavier gauge wire that's now coming off the alternator to power everything. I want to see if that's going to take care of the nose over. I don't know how many people, did anybody see the video I posted, was it 2 weeks ago on the channel? I think it's August 23rd, race day or something. Check that out. There's actual footage of the car leaving the starting line. And you'll see the car, when it leaves, it's ready to lift the front end up. I mean, you could tell she wanted to, and it just nosed over. So I think she just couldn't, there wasn't enough there for her to eat to get the job done. So I'm hoping with this fuel pump, with a little more volume, I'm hoping that gives her enough to eat to have her do the job and get it down the drag strip and see what we got, and just kind of get through this year with it the way it is, and hopefully, I mean, we're gonna have to put some work into it over the winter, but if if those two things come through, that would be amazing. I mean, even if we're able to switch over to the Holley Terminator X engine management system and get rid of the antiquated 950 system, I think even that alone would be a huge difference. But if we're able to put a decent set of race heads, AFR heads on it, I think that's going to be a huge difference. And then I think our next problem would be, making sure we're getting all that power to the ground, which I'm hoping to take care of with a fresh pair of slicks. And I think, Craig Nug, I think you said something about front end travel limiters. That might be something we look at into as well when I understand the science of that a little more. I got so much going on. I'm running out of hours in my day, but if I have a spare time, I'm going to research the travel limiter thing and see how that is. And we might have to look into something like that down the road. But for now, we want to get the car running. We want to get it running as good as it can in its current configuration. And then for next year, see what we can do to make it right. And what we're going to do with that rear end squat, and Lloyd already put a bug in my ear about it. We're going to take a click out of the rear shocks to loosen them up. We're going to loosen them up one click to let it squat a little bit, and see if that does anything. If this thing doesn't nose over, it's going to be a decent deal. However, I think once we get, sorry, it's just something I got to move here. I think if we're able to get the electronics we need in this car to run what we have and to tune what we have, and get a little more aggressive tune on this motor, either way, with the stock heads, or if the deal comes through for the AFR heads, we're gonna be running some decent times, I think. I think our biggest goal right now, our biggest thing we're trying to do right now, is to find the weakest links. Yeah, well, I'm going to tell you what, Crank Nug, I with all the stress I'm going through, I'm eating like it's ridiculous. I'm gaining weight like nuts. So I might end up being the fat guy that's the ballast. But anyway, so that's kind of where we're at. We're kind of excited for next year. Would be nice to have a shop to work in. I think that's going to be an issue, but we'll see what happens with that. Maybe can come through. Maybe some people can come through and get us a place to work, so we can maybe do all that stuff. It would make it a lot easier. But I think our goal this year is just trying to, and I think we're almost there. Our goal was to get out there, be able to get there without a big ordeal with wheels falling off or anything else. So we got that done. Getting the car teched, getting the car down the track, and getting this guy to settle down behind the driver's seat. So we accomplished that. With one pass, we accomplished that. So I'm still hungry to make more passes. But I want to get this thing sorted out. I'm hoping maybe this week can get it sorted out. Depending what's all going on personal wise, like with Dad, if he's going to come home from the hospital, what's going on with that. The kids are starting school in 2 days. How that all pans out, to see if we're able to go next week and get some passes in. I'd like to, but at the same token, I gotta make sure that where my priorities need to be in a week, and it's hard to say that right now because things change day to day. So So the plan is we get a battery this week. We get the whole patched up. And then, thank you, Shuggy. So that's the game plan. And then if by Wednesday we still don't have the fuel pump being primed by the ECM, I think then it's time we're going to break out some 12 gauge wire, and we're just going to wire that thing on a switch in the dash, and that's how we're going to run the car the rest of the year. And then we'll cross other bridges over the winter as they come up with things we want to upgrade to make the car more user friendly and not such a stress to drive for me. So we're going to work on that. Somehow that's going to get worked out. I'm not quite sure how it's going to shake out, but that's kind of the plan. But I've got some really cool people in my corner right now. Some people coming through that otherwise I wouldn't have. So I'm grateful for that. I'm thankful for people. I'm thankful for you guys being here, listening to me ramble and whatever, supporting the channel, doing that kind of stuff. That means a lot too. So, that stuff means a lot. It helps keep me going. And basically, excuse me. Sorry, I have to do dad stuff. And right now I kind of need that. With everything going on, I need something to keep me going on this. I really didn't spend a lot of time this week on the car. Obvious reasons. But sometimes I just have to get out here at night or whatever, and I need to get out of my head. So I am battling with... I feel like I'm being selfish when I'm out here, but it's one of those, I do it because I'm getting out of my head so I can be available for people. So I don't think it's that selfish, but it is what it is. So yeah. So that's what was going on this week. We're going to keep pressing on in all areas. We're going to try and see we get this thing, at least get it running. I'm hoping by like Thursday. I'd like to get it running by Thursday. Probably if knowing Lloyd, it'll probably be running by Tuesday. He was pretty upset that we're not going racing tomorrow. But he understood. He gets it. So he's been a great addition here, and I look forward to things that he's got some ideas. He's got some goals that he wants to do. Unfortunately, he can't physically drive what we want to do. For what the kind of car, which will not be this car. We would probably have to build something down the road. It would be a Ford Gen Camaro. There's one that I know that we could use, that we could just go totally AWOL on and do almost every trick in the book on it. But that's down the road. That's something would be we're kind of like, it's like a side talk kind of thing, but it's something that we have thought about. But I don't want to do it to this car, just for sentimental reasons. But that's, he has a goal of eventually doing no prep racing, like something like Street Outlaws type stuff, big dollar stuff. And he knows how to build a motor and some stuff. He knows the tricks with his background. So basically, he charged me with figuring out the chassis, and he's going to build the motor, and we're supposedly going to put that car together. And then we would still have this one, because my car has been for 28 years. So it'd still be my car, that I would still race it when we can, but more or less, I guess for lack of a better term, building a team car. Unfortunately, he can't drive it because of he can't get a competition license because of, with his back and his vision, that if he would keep racing, he would probably lose his sight. So he can't do it. But he's very knowledgeable, and I'm so stoked to have him. So that's something that may be in the works, but way down the road. But he really wants us to get this thing cooking. And I think if those 2 or 3 things that I mentioned happen, I don't see any reason why we wouldn't be. And so that would be cool. Obviously, I'm going to keep everybody posted what's going on as it happens. As of right now, the only thing I can say that I'm definitely going to be able to do is the Terminator X system on it and a tune. I think that alone would be big. But if the other thing happens with the cylinder heads, that would be just downright, that would blow everything just nuts. But would be so cool. So anyway, we're that's where we're at. That's where we stand. We're gonna tentatively plan next Sunday at Island Dragway. That's assuming everything goes according to plan. But you know what they say: if you wanna make God laugh, tell him your plans. So we're gonna see how the week goes. Like I said, Dad may be coming home Tuesday, so that may change some things. So, but I would think the whole idea of, a battery shouldn't be a big ordeal, and making a patch panel for where the fuel pump was, where I made an access, I don't think that should be a big deal either. So we'll see. We'll see how things shake down. So anyway, I am going to. What was I going to? Oh, there's something I was going to do, and I forget now. Oh, I may see about going down to the Wheels of Time show. They're in town, so I may go down there. And if anything, I'm going to check out the live music. They got some good. I like listening to oldies now and then, not all the time. Thank you, Shuggy. And I don't always listen to oldies, but I like listening to a live band, and I really don't care what genre they play. If a live band is good, a live band is good. I don't give a shit what you play. If you're good, you're good. They're good. So I'm going to see about going down there here in a couple minutes, and I might hang out at the band shell and listen to some good music for a little bit. Maybe I'll get to see a couple hot old hot rod stuff down there before it gets dark. And maybe I can get out of my head for once, which would be a good idea. But maybe I'll go down and check that out, and we'll see how that all is. And then I have to see what tomorrow. I know tomorrow we're going to be a little busy. Yes, it does. It does heal the soul. I think I may have a busy day tomorrow. I might not get anything done on the car tomorrow. I don't know for sure. Because I have some things that have to get done. And I promised to help somebody with something completely unrelated to cars. So, depends how long that takes. If not, most of the stuff I think at this point, excuse me, can be done after work. That cutting, the hole I cut in the back to access the fuel pump, that was all done Friday night because I could take a decent amount of time and get that done. And I actually got the pump swapped out, which I didn't think I was going to be able to get that done, and I did get it done. And I know the pump works and doesn't leak, so what more can you ask for? So, yeah. So that's what we're going to do, or I'm going to do. Yeah. Yeah, I got to update. But, so that's going to be, yeah. So I'm going to go down to Macungie, down to the car show, Wheels of Time. I'm going to do that tonight. Tomorrow, I'm going to see if I can get a couple minutes to work on a car. If anything, the only thing I might do, I might see about cutting that hole a little better and making a patch panel. And then seeing about what battery I should get. So that's going to be it. And I think hopefully think by the end of the week we should have the car up and running by then. So we'll see how that all goes. And as usual, I'll keep everybody posted. Of course, if life situations allow me to have the time to. So, but anyway, everybody, thanks for tuning in. Thanks for checking in. Thanks for listening. I'm gonna bounce out of here and see if we head down there. So anyway, like I do every other time, watch out for each other. Take care of each other. We'll see you next time right here on Big E's. Bye, y'all. Take care.